obviously 2025, so many new transits, so many things, like, but like we've said in all the past episodes, since the beginning of the year, we've been in a massive water stellium. Like, we've just been drowning for 4 months.
Not even the good water, too.
I know, because it was like North Node in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces. Then we went through Pisces season, so we also had the Sun and Mercury in Pisces, which we still do. Mercury's at the 29th degree today, hallelujah. But then we had Venus in Pisces, and Venus went through retrograde, so she went back, and so she's been chilling in Pisces. And then we've had Mars in fucking Cancer for 7.5 months, so it's just been brutal. And so this is the week where, like, the tide shifts. So, like, we've been kind of talking about this, where you're gonna feel a very, like, rapid change. Not only, like, we've been talking so much about the world axis, like how that completes like an entire cycle, and that's a huge change, you know, Neptune moving into Aries, but we're now going to also, the energy is going to like viscerally shift from a massive water stellium to a massive fire stellium. So tomorrow, or kind of like later tonight really, Mercury will finally go into Aries. We also, this is the only 2 weeks of the year where we have no retrogrades. So we usually get a longer period where there's no retrogrades, but this year it is not the case. So a lot of like more fast-paced energy. So Mercury will move into Aries and immediately conjunct Neptune. We still have the Sun and Chiron conjunct in Aries as well.
Fun.
In kind of the later degrees. So that's already a fire stellium. And then in a couple of days, Mars will go into Leo. And we will finally be free. So that'll be 5 planets in fire. The moon goes into Sagittarius tonight as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's a lot of more added fire. And then by the time we get to the end of April, Venus will then also go into Aries, and then May, Saturn. So it's a big shift from the beginning of the year where I feel like everything was so odd and just like, I don't know, we just couldn't really get a momentum. We couldn't really feel like anything was like really happening, even though things were happening, but it just felt like very stagnant, like very off. And now with the fire stellium, I just feel this is the week where things start to really shift. So even though there's a lot going on in the world that feels like it's too much, I think unfortunately it's going to continue to be like too much, too fast. So we just have to like be more prepared for like fast-paced unfoldments, whereas it really hasn't been that way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of externally been mirroring that. Like, I mean, a lot of people now are just kind of felt like, you know, like in the beginning with like Trump being in office, it's just one of the easiest thing to like kind of make contrast to. Like a lot of people thought there would be like a lot of movement and all those things. And there has been little movement, but like not more of like what everyone was looking for or expecting right out the gate.
Or then what it was, they were like, not that. Like,
right, or different things, or it just didn't go the way. And I'm sure like nothing's going to go the way we anticipate It's going to play a different route, sure. But I definitely feel with what's been building since Trump got into office at the end of January till now, like it's going to be more fast paced from this point on. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna start to kind of notice these shifts. And like the things I've been getting through a lot. So like in the light body this month, we talked about, you've seen that graph of like the Christ spiral. Yes. And the lower spiral and how like they've been traveling together for like eons of time. And then at one moment they meet together, which has probably been like the last like 9 months. And then they split off. Right. And that was like November of last year, right? When they when they merged. Oh, that's when they merged. Okay. Yep. So now they're like doing the split off. And so, you know, I think a lot of what we're witnessing is just that the old world is going to burn itself to the ground. And this is like just something we have to like kind of witness from afar and not get too involved in it. But it's basically going to make it, I feel, so that the lower world
whatever you want to call it, the matrix, the illusion, the lower grids, like, don't exist anymore, so no one can go back to it. You can only create something new. You can only move forward into something new. But like, that's kind of where we're at. So the massive fire stellium, I think, is going to make it a little bit more extreme in a way. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to like calm down anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, with the last year or so, like, I feel like 2024, like, things happened, and obviously the election was a big thing.
Yeah.
But it was, like, all this momentum, like, to the election, and then we had to wait till this year to, like, start kind of things. Like, 2024 felt like a lot of wrapping up was being done versus, like, momentum and waiting. But like now we're going to start seeing why it was going to happen. And this is something we talked about end of last year, even early this year, of like, prepare for things to pick up. We have to integrate it now because we need to be able to hold some type of steady vibration on the planet for other people. If chaos does ensue, what that looks like, whether it's some type of worldly chaos or just internal chaos that people are experiencing and are struggling to handle energetically. So it's like, it's just been a prepping point, knowing that things aren't slowing down anytime soon for the rest of this year into 2026 and 2027 and beyond. Like, it's
like, if we thought 2025 was crazy, when we've looked at the astrology of 2026 and 2027, it's like even so much more unhinged.
I know, it keeps building, and it's not stopping. And so we have to, you know, like, this kind of rest period was important because things are going to continue to pick up, and we need to be able to integrate that. And like we're saying, like, there's no break point for a few years now with what we're looking at. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I feel we had the break in many ways already. Like, I mean, really, if you look at, like, we talked about one of my theories that I put an article out about was that obviously we know 2020 did something psychologically to everybody. But I also, like, just from looking back at, like, our experiences on mission and with Mom during 2020, I believe that was also like an attempted reset. Of sorts, right? Like, they definitely, like, tried to attack the grids, the higher grids. They completely, like, what I've noticed the most with myself, and then just like tapping into the collective or like watching people's TikTok videos or social media, is like, everyone says the same thing. They haven't had joy since then. Since 2020. They've been unable to access any type of joy since 2020.
Yeah, I feel like it was a balance between an attempt at a reset, but it cracked a lot of people open, and that's what they didn't anticipate. But I would say that COVID was, in a lot of ways, like the nail on the coffin for Mom, if that makes sense, because she had to take so much of it on. We had so much fear going on at that time, so much restriction with the rules, and like people felt stifled, and people's lives went from total